Let's see.
Doing the West?
I mean, I'm okay if you guys want to do the West too. I mean,
Unless we have anything else, why not?
we've been recording for an hour, but that was with like 20 minutes of social media bashing, so maybe we can.
Yeah, let's do the West.
Okay. I'm not as prepared for the West, but let's do it. Hi, and welcome to the show. This week, we give you our Western Conference playoff predictions for the 2022-2023 season. Will the playoff picture shape up the way it did last year, or will some new teams step up and become some new contenders for the ultimate prize? We also get into our battle of the basement and predict the bottom 5 teams that will be competing for a chance to draft Connor Bedard in the 2023 entry draft next summer. The season is upon us, and we're ready to drop the puck. So please, take a load off, relax, and welcome to Hockey for Fanatics. Okay, so who wants to go first? Western Conference. We got Central Division, Pacific Division. Who wants to go
I
first?
think I went first with the East, so you guys can go ahead.
All right. Okay, maybe I'll go first today.
Yeah,
All right,
do
so
it.
we got Central Division. So obviously, Colorado are going to be there. I'm going to say, oh boy, this is going to get tougher. It's going to get tougher. There's a lot of teams that I like that are, again, I'm not saying contenders, but playoff teams. I would say yes. I'm going to put Dallas in there, and I'm going to put I'm going to put oh god. I guess I'm going to put St. Louis in there, even though I really don't want to, but I will. Those are my 3 from the Central Division. All right, who's next?
Let's see. I'm gonna go next. How can you go against Colorado first? And it's first Colorado, then it gets tricky.
Yeah.
I still like St. Louis. Their depth is. I love their depth. As long as Binnington stays healthy, I like it. I think he's rebounding nicely. Their defense is pretty good. I have St. Louis in the top 3. You picked Dallas, eh? That's not a bad one.
Well, I'm
I
looking
don't
at
like
the
their make.
rest. I'm looking at the rest of the teams, and
Yeah,
I don't see it.
yeah.
So
Minnesota's still a good team, man. I hate picking the same 3 as last year, but until someone proves otherwise, I'm gonna stick with the same 3. Just not sure which order the second and third will be.
that's fine. So Minnesota, you said?
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, Tommaso, you go next.
Colorado first, Blue second, Wild third.
Well, same thing.
I don't think anyone's done anything enough to surpass those guys for the top 3.
Giancarlo?
Yeah, so I'll go Colorado, of course. I'll go St. Louis, and I'm gonna go Nashville. Very, very surprised you guys are counting Nashville out.
Well, again, top 3. We're talking wild card, maybe a different story, but
So tell us why. Tell us why you believe in Nashville.
Well, it starts with goaltending, of course. UC Soros, I have him in my top 10, maybe top 5 for goalies in the league. He's phenomenal. Defensively, they're solid. Their top 4, they just traded for McDonough, proven winner. So I really like that. And then I don't know, Forsberg, Duchesne, these guys had unbelievable years, and they have these really good young guys in Tomasino. And then what's that other guy? Tolvanen?
Eli Tolvanen, yeah.
That's the guy, yeah. Cody Glass is another one to keep an eye on. I think this is finally going to be the year.
Cody Glass, we've been talking about for years.
I know, but this is going to be the year. This is going to be the year of Cody Glass.
I thought it was 2016 for a second.
Nino Niederreiter, they signed him in the offseason too. So I mean, they just added
big contract too.
They did, yeah, big contract. So I mean, I don't know. They have that team. They have a really, and I think they're like the 3rd or 4th longest playoff streak right now in the NHL. So I don't think they'll be looking to break that. So
you brought up some really good points. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't really thinking much of them. I thought they were one of those bubble teams, but you brought up really good points.
Just interesting. Like Duchesne almost had 90 points last year, and if
But
he
do you
can,
think he can repeat
Yeah.
that? He's
Well,
so all over the place.
I know, but I think he really likes playing with Forsberg. I don't know what it is. And Forsberg's
Sure.
another one. He put up 80 plus points, and then
Please, they're
I don't know. It's
fours.
just a really interesting team to me. Is the Nashville Predators. Even Mikael Grenland had a better year than the last few. Like, seems like the guys are starting to bounce back from their bad seasons, and then they just have
Mhm.
all these young kids that, like Tomasino. I think Tomasino is right up there for a breakout season. I think he scores 20 at least this year at a minimum. So I don't know.
Cool.
Just it's going to be interesting. Excited for them. Even Ryan Johansson, I think, had a bounce back year if I'm remembering it correctly. He
yeah,
looked
but
he looked
man,
down and out.
that's the thing, though. Is it, no one knows. There's not enough consistency with some of those guys, right?
No, there's not.
Exactly.
Yeah, he
But
had a
hey,
Not
decent year
smart.
last
they
year.
made it. They have that. I think you said third streak in terms of making the playoffs. There's a reason why. They have some depth, right? And they
Yeah,
have the
goaltending,
goaltending.
right?
Goaltending's huge.
Yeah.
That's
Who's
not a
their
bad
backup,
pick.
by the way?
Kevin Lankinen. So that guy played, I think, in Chicago last year. I think.
So they better pray that Saros stays
Yeah.
I think
injury
that'll be
free.
Wasn't
the key. Saros needs to stay healthy, and I think he's had injury problems in the
He
past.
has. He has.
wasn't it that was the problem? Stinky Reich came into the playoffs and he was garbage, like just
Who
garbage.
did?
Stinky Reich. Don't you know who I'm talking about?
Oh, you mean?
No.
No, I don't. Who the hell is that? I don't even know who that is.
So I know that Nashville has Connor Ingram, who did come into the playoffs. He actually had one really good game, and then I think he shit the bed after that. But he's a really good prospect, so he'll be interesting. I think he might challenge for that backup spot at least. Is that who you're talking about, though, Tommaso?
I have no idea who he's
No,
talking about.
he was a Leaf. He got traded
Oh, you're
from
thinking of
Calgary.
Big Save Dave, I
Dave
think.
Riddick.
Okay,
Dave
okay.
Riddick.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
God.
Yeah, he's just garbage. Like, wasn't he in Nashville? Didn't he play for Nashville in the playoffs
I
because
think I
Saros was
think that
hurt?
sounds
And
familiar.
then Colorado scored like 8 goals.
Yeah, it was him. And he played in Edmonton the first preseason game
Yeah, he
and
did.
got 4
Yeah.
goals on him in like 3 minutes or something crazy like that. He's garbage. Like, oh
Oh,
my goodness, that guy is so bad.
Yeah,
Do
he
you remember what happened with Connor Ingram? Did he get hurt too, or did they just light him up because it was Colorado? Because I remember he was looking really good at one point. I don't know how that lasted.
I don't remember.
You don't remember? I think,
No.
yeah. I mean, their backup is definitely in the air between him and Lankinen. Who, yeah, he came
I don't
from
even see this
Or
other guy.
Chicago, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's. I don't think he's that good, but
Connor Ingram, yeah, I see him here too. He's not on their roster. He's a non-roster player according to Cap Friendly, but either way, it'll be
I wonder if he's an RFA.
no, it says he's signed
Oh, yes.
733K. I don't know how that works. Like I guess that like when you have a certain maybe you have to have a certain number of players on your roster and you can't you're not allowed to carry any more than that. For some reason he's not on their roster, but anyway.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh, he did play all 4 games for in the playoffs. Connor Ingram.
Oh yeah, because Riddick got pulled every game, right? So I don't know.
Yeah,
I like the
Central's
Saros
just
team.
a
been
weird
solid.
division.
Yeah, it is.
Hmm.
All right, let's go to the other one because we can talk about the wild cards after. So Pacific, I'll go first. No particular order. Edmonton. Oh, this is hard. This isn't easy. It's not easy.
I
Can I
know,
not pick three teams? Can I only pick one team?
right?
Yeah.
The
Isn't
West
it
is a little
similar
bit
to the
harder.
Detroit, Ottawa, Buffalo
This is
situation?
worse for me. This is worse for me because I'm looking and I'm like, so maybe it's like you go the other way and you're like, who isn't going to make the playoffs? So I
Yeah,
don't think San Jose
it's
is going to
true.
make the playoffs. I don't think Seattle's going to make the playoffs. So that's obviously process of elimination. They're done from the equation. At least top three. Okay, I'm not saying uh, wild cards yet. So Calgary, Anaheim, LA, Vegas, Vancouver. I gotta say, I'm gonna put Vegas there, only because I think they were better than they were last year. So I think they should be better this year. Maybe I'm wrong. Who do they have in net? Is Leonard still there?
Leonard's out for the
No,
year.
he's
They,
gone for the
That's
year.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, they got Thompson and
They
Broussard.
got the
oh,
young
that's right. They
kid who
went.
did
We
pretty
did a
good.
podcast on that. I forgot. No, they got
Yeah.
these two guys. And then you said, yeah, there was a kid, Logan Thompson. Yeah, that was the guy.
Yeah, he's a pretty good player. But
I'm
who
still
knows? He's still a kid, right?
I'm still gonna put them there only because I think that they're better than that. It's tough. It's tough. I'm going to say, holy shit. Maybe I'm gonna change my mind. I'm gonna change my mind. I'm gonna take Vegas out. I'm gonna take Vegas out. They're no longer gonna make the playoffs. I literally put them in a playoff spot, and I'm gonna take them out. I'm gonna say
That's awesome.
the Los Angeles Kings are gonna make the playoffs,
Okay.
and I'm gonna say the Calgary Flames are gonna make the playoffs.
So Oilers, Flames, Kings.
Those are
Yeah.
my three
Not
spots.
bad.
Yes.
I
Okay.
think that's the top three from last year.
Yeah,
It's hard
they
to
are.
go, but I'm gonna go with all three Canadian teams.
Wow.
Nice. Get who was the third one?
Vancouver.
Vancouver. Right?
Tomaso's favorite team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tommaso loves Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see if he takes them
Why
in
why
history.
Vancouver, Tomas? Or Dave? Why do you think Vancouver's gonna make it?
I think Demko's gonna have another great year. I think he's just gonna get better.
They had a really good season under Boudreaux, right? When he took
Yeah,
over.
yeah, I mean, this is gonna go back to what we said about Buffalo and Ottawa. Now, those are no pressure games, and you're that far out. But I mean, they they have a good team. It just they didn't put it together for the first half. What was it? Travis Green was a coach. I guess he
Yep.
just couldn't get him going anymore. And enter Boudreaux, and boom, they went on that huge run. They almost squeaked into the playoffs. I think they were battling for a while.
They were.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have them in there only because
Hmm.
I don't trust Golden Knights goalie. I don't know what Thompson's gonna do. None of us know.
Yeah, yeah.
Some people think he might win Rookie of the Year. I don't know. We'll see. But like I said, until you prove it, I'm not gonna pick Vegas. LA's interesting. I think they got a good young team, but I just think Vancouver has more depth than LA at the moment. So I'm gonna have Vancouver squeaking in the third.
Awesome. Tommaso, what do you think? Pacific.
Flames, Kings, Canucks.
Where the hell are the Oilers? You have them out?
No. This is just the top
This
three.
is just
Remember?
the top three.
Not wild card.
He's gonna say wild card.
Saying
Wow.
like you don't have him in the top three. Holy
Wow.
shit!
Crazy.
Yeah, there's a hot take.
All right, that'll definitely come back in the wild card conversation. Giancarlo, what do you
Mhm.
think?
I'm gonna take the Oilers. Ooh, I don't know. The Kings are they're a weird team. Is Kemp gonna score 35 goals again? I can't imagine that he does. And
No,
if
but
he doesn't,
Fiala
who the
might.
hell's gonna score?
Fiala might. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know. I'm not that high on Fiala. This is a really weird team for me. And is Quinton Byfield gonna actually do something this year? Is he gonna end up getting demoted again?
At some point, you have to expect
Maybe.
something.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Kings out of my top three. I'm gonna go Oilers. I'm gonna take the Flames, and I'm gonna go with the Ducks.
Nice.
Anaheim.
Mobutu will
Oh
love
yeah,
you.
yeah, I like the Ducks a
Okay,
lot.
so and the Ducks being for what reason? Just because they do like lacrosse goals all the time? Is that why
Well,
you?
they do lacrosse goals. They have the Calder winner, upcoming Calder winner on their team. I
There
think
you
that they
go.
have four working lines. Ryan Strome, I think, is going to be a nice fit there.
Who's gonna ride
Uh,
shotgun for these guys, Giancarlo? I want to know. They're gonna get killed. You need people to
Mhm.
why?
defend you out there. What do you mean why? Because you're gonna get killed. They sh-
Well,
last year. Listen, I'm telling you, I like skilled players, but I'm looking at this lineup right now. If I'm Tortorella's team, they're gonna eat these guys. They're
well,
gonna
they added
eat them.
Frank Vetrano. Frank Vetrano plays a hard game.
Was he 5'8"?
Hey,
Come on.
Yeah, I don't know how tall he is, but I know that he likes to hit. He likes to use his
Uh,
body.
5'11". Come on, get out of here.
Giancarlo, Mikey's right. Like once Anaheim traded Bollier, Zegras' production tanked, like completely tanked. His season went from extremely promising, this and this and this and this. Like Mikey's 100% right. When you don't have that guy that gives you that space and makes you feel comfortable, and now all these teams are just targeting your young, skilled players, it's a much different game, right? It's much, much harder.
Well, they got that French kid who I think is going to be a full timer. He's pretty big. He'll use his body in ways that he can. Silverberg, I think, is another one who hits a lot, doesn't he?
No,
No,
he's a
he doesn't.
Swede.
No. Yeah.
He's an
No,
offensive
not Silver.
defenseman.
No,
Yeah,
no, he's a forward. He's a forward.
yeah. No, they're probably
Oh,
lacking a
sorry,
little
yeah.
bit of
I guess so.
or physicality, but I don't know. They have the skill. It'll
I
be
like.
interesting.
Hey,
They
don't
got
get
the
me wrong.
goaltending.
I love the skill on this team. I don't want. I didn't mean to
They got
pick
the
on.
goaltending too, right? If John Gibson stays healthy, I mean,
I just think
they're
that
If
it's too easy to find ways to exploit. And maybe I'm wrong. Like maybe it's my way of thinking is antiquated, and maybe they're gonna let they're not gonna be as like I don't know. When I saw that episode last year, when was it? Zegras went in to like go for a rebound, and it was like, who was it? Oh, come on. Was it who was the player that took a liberty? I can't remember the player's name. Um, but anyway, he basically tried to get Zegras out of there, and then Troy Terry came in to defend his teammate, and
I
then
know who you're talking
this
about, it
guy
was a
just
veteran.
yes, this guy just
I
killed
could
him.
see him.
Yeah,
And he's not even a tough
no,
guy.
he's
That's the
not.
funniest part.
No, he's not. He's
Oh, who was it
ah,
again?
shit. I can't
It
remember it
was
again.
someone you would never picture him to do something like that, but he was just had enough. It was from Arizona, wasn't it? It was a team that was getting
Yes.
schmurtled
It
all
was
the time.
Arizona. Yes. Hold on.
And he
Let
was
me
like,
see.
I had enough of this. This kid's showing me up.
I
I'm going to
remember
punch him in
because
the face.
Kessel was actually the guy who was yelling, and he wasn't yelling at his own teammate. He was yelling at them for like showboating, right? They're saying this is what you get, kind of thing. Oh man, I can't remember the
Hey,
guy's name.
Beagle.
Yes, that's the
Who?
guy. Jay Beagle. Very
Say it
good,
again?
Dave. Yes, it
Yes,
was Jay
that
Beagle.
is him.
Kate Pico.
Yeah, that's the guy. Troy Terry comes in and Beagle just dropped him, just killed him, right?
Yeah,
And it's
that's
like
right.
if you don't like it's hockey, like you're not just coming in to give the guy a hug. Like you're coming in with your fists up, you're gonna get punched, right? So
Yeah.
that team needs to learn how to play. If you're gonna play a skill game, you're gonna have to know your place and know when to do that stuff. I like the skill in the team, don't get me wrong, and I think that they have a bright future. But anyway,
Well, and they got Comtois too, or whatever that guy's name is. He's a heavy hitter. And he's young, so I
Uh,
think he'll make a name for himself
he's more
this year too.
but
offensive
even the
though, no?
coach,
Anyway,
right? Like
Well,
who?
he
Like
hits a
their
lot.
coach is meh.
who's
Doesn't
Yeah,
do anything
they're
for
they're
me.
an identity team too, which
they
is
have
going to be in
Dallas
question.
Eakins.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's just like a recycled coach for the past. I don't even know. I think his best coaching years were in the Marlies. I don't even
Yeah.
know. Like,
Went to
okay,
Edmonton and made a mess. Yeah.
yeah, he's just all over the place doing mediocrity. Like,
Doesn't
what does
even look
he
like a
have?
coach. He doesn't even look like a coach.
I don't know.
But hey,
Who
listen,
knows?
they do have the talent, right? So, and like Mike says, you need talent to win regular season games, and I think they will get their fair share of wins. But is it enough to finish top three? We'll see.
We'll see. All right,
That's what makes this fun.
let's do the why don't we start with you, Giancarlo, for the wild cards then?
Start with me for the wild cards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's come on.
Well, you're saying it's an easy one. Dallas is there for sure. Dallas is
You guys love
100% a lock.
Dallas, eh?
Well, it's just I don't know. I think the West is a little bit
They got a good goalie,
iffy.
Dave. Like they had a great goalie. They got good young players. This Rupe Hintz that Giancarlo's been
Is
telling me about for
Robertson going to sign or what?
well, that is the risk that I'm
11 million.
taking by picking Dallas in the top three.
Please get 11 million. Somebody get 11.
Yeah, they got to re-sign him or they're going nowhere. He's definitely their best player. But I would go Dallas and I would go. Oh, it's a toss-up between teams like LA and Vegas.
Pick one.
I'm gonna go with LA.
LA Kings. All right,
Cool.
so Tommaso, why don't you go next?
Edmonton and Vegas.
Edmonton had to be in there.
Vegas, eh? Vegas.
2 out of the Pacific.
Yeah, it's hard to argue those teams. I mean, Vegas, I don't know. They scared me off after I originally picked them when I started to look at some of the competition. That's what it is. It's not that I dislike Vegas. I just think that the
Y-
goaltending is a big
You actually influenced me actually.
by
While
saying it.
you were,
Nice.
yeah, while you were
I
going on
sold you on
about
it.
them, I'm
Nice. You
like,
started,
yeah,
man, those
I was
guys are
like,
better.
you know
Yeah.
what? Not mind the fact, yeah. You know what? That kid is actually pretty good, and I don't know. But then Dave was exactly right, right? If that you're counting your whole season on a rookie goalie, that's just prime for disaster. So that's why I didn't put him in on my top three.
But you
I'm
picked a
like,
wild
I
card.
think they have good enough players
Yeah.
to get them in a wild card. That's all.
Yeah, you know what? It's true. I may factor that into my decision making on my wild card as well. But because like I'm looking at their roster now, I always like their team. They have decent like and Kessel is there now, right? Is that right?
Oh
Yeah, he
yeah,
is. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Kessel's
okay.
there.
he
That's a
assisted on Eichel's first goal of the year in preseason.
there you go. That's
They're gonna be something. I
who would you
guarantee
rather
you.
have,
That
Kessel or Pacioretty? Like to me, that's I'd rather have the.
Kessel.
Oh yeah, for sure. So that's what
Yeah.
they've done, right? Like they essentially got
Hmm.
a better player for less. They did pretty
Much
well.
less.
Yeah, I think they did well.
Much less.
Yeah.
I think they did them very good.
And I saw Phil. He's looking pretty trim. He looks like he's been on a diet.
He
So,
must be eating turkey hot
Oh,
dogs.
sir, he with
wait till
this,
he finds a buffet at Caesar's Palace.
he,
He's gonna be
Oh
ruined.
he
boy,
he switched to
that's awesome.
nice, Dave. I heard that he switched to turkey hot dogs.
Turkey hot dogs.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
All right, Dave, you're next.
He's all business though, Kessel. Like this is
How
a big
Yeah,
year for him, right?
how can you
yeah,
not
This is a
how
yeah.
can
very
you not
big year.
how can you not love him? The guy just he always all he does is wins. That's it. And that's
Hmm.
who I want on my team in the playoffs any day. So that's what they're building for anyway. So might as well give it a last kick at the can.
For sure.
Dave, why don't you go
Dave?
next?
Yeah, I mean, the West is similar to the East for me in terms of the best race is going to be the wild card race. I think everyone again has a similar top three, right? So at least similar top two. But for me, I think Nashville keeps their streak going. And then it's a tough one. It's between LA and the Golden Knights, and I'm gonna give the edge to the Golden Knights to squeak in this time. Not LA. I think LA might miss.
Wow. Wow.
Like I said, guys, it could be any of
Yeah,
these
for
teams.
sure it could be. Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
hard.
even Winnipeg might surprise this year and do something
I
with a
mean,
new
it,
coach.
I like Winnipeg. I
You
like
know,
Winnipeg.
Maurice is not there. What the hell am I doing? I should be picking Winnipeg. Heck, I'm
So
gonna throw
Giancarlo,
Winnipeg.
why do you like Winnipeg? Why do you like
Oh,
him?
I just like Cole Perfetti. I think he's gonna be the guy to look out for there.
But wait a minute, how many games did he
Okay.
play?
Who?
Cole Perfetti.
He only played 18 because I think he got hurt last year. He missed half the season.
Well, we'll see.
And
but you
I
didn't
don't know. I
pick
think
Winnipeg, Giancarlo. What the hell? Now all of a sudden you're telling Dave to pick Winnipeg?
well, they're one of my bubble teams. I mean, I like them. I don't like their bottom six as much, but I really like their top six. Like I really,
Yeah.
really like their top six. But
And I was gonna say, Dave, removed your favorite coach. You should be all for them.
they probably have
Yes.
arguably top three goalie in the league. Like they just, I don't know.
I'm
They're
just
weird.
worried I'm worried they're gonna if they don't get off to a good start. I think what they ripped the C off. Did they actually rip it off them or did
They
they
did,
hand it
yeah.
in? So I
They're
mean,
going with no captain this year.
that's what I mean. I don't know. I don't know if this is one of those fork in the road. Are they gonna finally dismantle guys like Shifley and
Ah, they're
Wheeler and
finished.
inherit some top picks,
This
right?
team's finished, Dave. This team's finished.
No, I
Come on.
get it. It's like
Yeah.
now is when you got to make this decision, right?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do now?
I would be the best thing for them is to rip it up because even Hollebuck is I got 2 years left or 1 year left on his contract, and why re-sign him? Why
Yeah.
give him big money? It's a waste of time. Yeah, I would tear them down.
I mean, I
But
would for sure. A guy like Scheifele's got a $6 million player. He's got 2 years left on his contract. That's an attractive player for somebody. Like this is a rebuilding time for me.
what about Kyle Connor?
It's
Kyle
too,
Connor almost put up 100 points last year, and he's at $7 million a year
well,
locked
he's
in.
20, he's
He's a
20.
50 goal scorer.
Yeah, but he's 25 years old, so you could potentially keep him for a little while, right? Like it's not.
Yeah, but why? He's only got
Yeah,
4 more years, and then I don't know if they cash in
I
on him
I
now. I can
say
only imagine the package.
it's fair. It's fair. I mentioned Shifley only because he's 29, so it's like okay, like what are you supposed to do with this guy, right? Like at some point you have to
Shifley's
start,
another one, yeah.
right? That's why I
I agree.
mention it. But
No,
and
they
then
got some really, really good trading chips. Connor, Shifley, Ellers,
Dubois,
Hellebuck,
they had
Dubois,
Dubois as well. Yep.
Connor's
even
Why
going
would you
nowhere.
Wheeler.
They're
trade
not going to trade
Connor though?
guys. Connor's going nowhere.
Yeah.
It's
Why would you
Wheeler.
trade Connor? It makes no
Yeah,
sense.
I agree with
Well,
that. I
Wheeler and
wouldn't trade him.
if
Shifley,
they get
if
the
anything.
offer, if
Yeah.
they get like a top offer for Connor, why would they not do it? They should rebuild. I mean, if you look at it, right, Connor is in 5 years. Is he going to be as good as he is now? Because they need at least 5 years to get better. I mean, they got nothing.
Sure.
Well,
Even prospect wise,
Uh,
besides Cole Perfetti, they got nothing.
oh, okay,
David Riddich. What are you talking about? They
nice.
got a lot there.
I just find it hard when you guys talk like that because, like, you draft a young player
Yeah.
who turns into something already.
Mhm.
He's young. He's under control. Like, why are you moving him for more potential?
Yeah.
Like, potentially a good
So
first. Okay, you get a first round pick, sure,
Yeah.
but will that guy turn into a 30, 40 goal scorer? Who knows? You have one literally in front of you.
well, I
Why
would.
would you move him for potential? That makes no
So
sense to me.
I would
He's going to be their captain.
just to go on play both sides here. Like for the record, I wouldn't trade Connor at this point in time, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't trade him before the end of his contract. He's got 4 years left.
Sure.
He's got 4 years left on his deal. He's making
Mhm.
7.142 million. It are
Deal.
the question you have to ask yourself is, are you going to be a contender before that deal is up? That's the question that you have to ask
Well,
yourself.
they got 4 years. They got four
That's
years to
that's what
answer
I'm
that
saying.
question.
Yeah.
He'll be 29 by then, and his value, unless he's
Uh,
still scoring 40 to 50 goals a year, is going to drop.
well,
I think his value right now is the highest.
and that's why I'm entertaining your idea. I think it's not a bad one. Like I think Shifley's a no-brainer to trade. That's the way
Oh,
I
for
look.
sure.
When I started to look at the roster, I started to look at okay, who would I move out first, right?
Shifley, Ehlers, and Dubois and Hellebuck, I think, are the first four that they should be looking to move. But if they get an offer for Connor that's like mind blowing, I don't know. I would take it.
you gotta
Why
tear,
not?
yeah.
They
Listen,
got to tear it down.
I love rebuilding a team, but I think Tommaso brought this up before in terms of you got to sell tickets. Usually, I'm not on that side of the coin, but you can't trade Connor.
I wouldn't
think he's
trade
gonna.
him now. I wouldn't trade him now, but I would definitely trade him in 2 years. That's the way I would do it.
Why? But why? 27 years old.
27.
Why?
Because the reality is you're gonna have to move him at some point. He's gonna be a UFA in another 2 years after that. So
Yeah, but it's 4 years, Mike.
either you sign him. No. I said I would keep him for 2. I would trade him after 2 years. This is what I'm saying. So I keep him for the next 2 years. Then he's 27, 2 years away from unrestricted free agency. Then I would consider moving him. You know what I'm saying? Because it really depends on your,
Yes.
but it really depends on your window, right? Like that's what I'm
I
saying. Like there's a lot of unknowns. Like at that point, Perfetti is now like you have to project a little bit. Perfetti's 20, so he's going to be 22 years old. Do you have any other draft picks? Like I don't know Winnipeg's system, right? I'm trying to look at building a winner, right? So you have to have the cards, right? So what,
Yes.
Giancarlo, what do they got? What do these guys have in their system?
They don't have a lot. That's why I'm saying that they need to tear it down. Like they have nothing. They got no exciting players coming up besides
They
Perfetti.
don't.
But
Exactly.
Perfetti, people have him like as a top prospect in the league right now. I've seen lists where he's a top prospect in the league. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to make of Perfetti because of his injury history. But I don't know. Do they have another 80-point player, another 90-point player in Perfetti? It's possible, and if they do, that makes the team a lot more interesting. in terms of tearing it down, because they do
Yeah.
have some good pieces, right? But other than that, they got nothing coming up. So, and I think they've moved a lot of first round picks in the last couple of years, which has hurt them in terms of drafting. Um, I don't know. They don't have an exciting team in
They had a
terms of
team
prospects.
that was better. We talked about this before. They had a team that was primed to be better than this. They never materialized. It just
They
never.
never materialized.
They
Yep.
never turned into the dominant team that you look at them on paper and you're like, this team should be better than they are. Like that is what you
Yeah.
what you come to the conclusion on. But
100%.
these guys get
Who was the
older.
coach, Mike? Who was the coach? I'm sorry, but you guys
Dave's
talk
buddy.
about. But you were just talking about tear it down. They do have to tear it down. Step one is removing the coach. He left. Step two has got to be the GM. I don't know. This guy still has a job after all this time.
Yeah.
He should not be GM of that team. I mean, what has he brought in? Giancarlo just said they have no prospects coming up. I don't know.
Got to be buddies with the owner or something, because he's like a Winnipeg guy.
The owner's
I guess.
Thompson. The guy, he's one of the richest men in Canada. Who
I don't
knows where he
understand it.
is? He's not even in
I-
Winnipeg. So what is,
I don't get it. I don't get it either. I don't know how
step two,
that
the
guy
GM's got to
does the
go.
job.
And step three, guys like Wheeler, guys like Hellebuck, guys like Shifley, you can get a lot for these guys. And same with Dubois.
100%.
That's another piece. You can have a rebuilt team in 2 to 3 years, and then you
True.
have Connor as a good piece at 28 years old.
Well, if you look at it like that, then yeah, that's when they should hang on to Connor
Yep,
and
yep.
pray that
But Dave's thinking
Perfetti turns
smart.
into
Dave's
something
thinking
great.
smart because
He
you have a
is.
pretty special player with Connor, right? Like he's not like a dime a dozen top six player. Like this is a pretty good player, right?
And
So
Perfetti can
Yeah.
play center too. So I mean, if he turns into their first line center and they move Shifley, they move Dubois. I don't know. It's interesting.
You know what? If you play devil's advocate here, right? You got yourself a new coach, and apparently the players hated the old guy. Well, not as much as Dave here, but they hated the coach. Bonus is a defensive-oriented coach. He puts in a system, the solid defensive system. They have a Vesna-type goaltender.
They
If you
do.
play defense in front of that goaltender, you're going to win games. Do they have enough offense? Hell yes. Remember that whole thing we were talking about the Islanders? You guys are worried about the Islanders scoring? Well, I think Winnipeg has that, right? So if they have a defensive structure in front of them, they play actual defense, and they're committed to it, not like Shifley sits there and cherry picks all game, then I think you never know. Like, who knows? This team could be, it's just one of those things. Like, they could be a bubble team, like a wild card team, or they could be at the bottom. It all depends on where these guys go, right?
You talked me into
never
it.
know.
Nashville's out, Winnipeg's in, just because of Maurice.
Come on.
No, I'm
Bonus
serious.
is a pretty good coach, man. He's a pretty damn good. You know who he is? He's like a Pat Burns Jr., right? He comes in, like Mikey was alluding to it earlier about Tortorella. You bring these guys in to right the ship. That's what Bonus is. He's one of those type of coaches. He comes in, he stops the BS. He stops the slacking. Everyone works hard for this guy. That's it. So if you can get them, and that usually works initially. You bring a coach like that in, it usually works like a half a season or that first season, and then eventually it just wears off because the players just like, this is not sustainable. F this. I can't block shots with my face every single shift. And then it wears off. It's like Daryl Sutter's, same thing in Calgary, right? Like, will they continue to be like this in 2-3 years? I don't know. It's tough, right? But I don't know. I can. The more we talk about it, the more I can see Bone is bringing his team as a wild card team.
Well,
I could see
they're
it.
definitely better. Again, like we said, the roster on paper is better than they have shown. So that is a coaching problem for sure. So
I don't know who's gonna score goals for this team. I mean, obviously
Come
you got
on,
your guys
what are
like
you, crazy?
Connor
You
and
just
Allard.
said it,
Dude,
You
they're
just
I
said
know,
it.
but you got your top guys, but they have zero depth. If you look at their bottom six, it's just so bad, like so
Say
bad.
that about most teams.
But they don't even
That's
have a
like
third line.
19 teams out there.
Their
that
third
you can say
line
that
is
about.
yeah, but their third line is hardly even a fourth line on most teams. Like they're very front loaded, and you shut these guys down, and I don't know who's gonna score goals for them.
Leafs.
You talking about the Leafs?
Toronto.
I couldn't
I
tell
was
you
just
were
gonna say
talking
that's
about.
Toronto. You
Well,
basically said the Leafs.
Yeah, but Toronto, I don't know. Toronto still has a way better bottom six than Winnipeg.
What?
Winnipeg's bottom six is so bad.
Whoa.
So bad.
Winnipeg has a better goalie.
Yeah, I would agree
Bottom
there.
six, I don't know. I don't even know.
Their
just
bottom
flip a coin.
six, they have two guys. Well, if you put Sam Gagner, who they just signed, on their bottom six, they have three guys who have NHL experience. Like the rest of them are
Yeah,
just
but that
like,
doesn't mean anything. Like you have to give them a chance. But I hear what you're saying. Like
well, they're like 25-year-old grinders who have been pushing the AHL and NHL type of players. Like to me, those are not guys that are going to be
yeah,
solid.
but that's who you want on your bottom six. Like I don't know what you're expecting on your bottom six. Like you want
I want
guys.
20 goal. No, I want 20 goal scorers on my bottom six.
Oh,
The NHL is a
Well,
goal scoring
scores are
league.
like $3-4 million now.
You're dreaming.
Yeah.
You're dreaming.
So you're saying you rather have like veterans?
I'd
Right?
rather
Is that
You
what
want
you're
the
saying?
Islanders.
I'd
You
rather
want
have
the
guys
Islanders.
who actually can score
okay.
and guys. No, I don't want the Islanders. I don't want the Islanders.
Yeah, I'd
I don't
rather.
want Zach Parise on my third line.
I understand that you have to have guys that can play hockey, but expecting 20 goals from a third line, I don't know where that comes from. I like my teams with.
That's my expectation. Absolutely.
I
If you
think
don't have your third line scoring 20 goals, at least one of your third liners scoring 20 goals, and you just don't have the depth.
That's what
Especially come
happens when you're a
playoff time.
Pittsburgh fan for so long.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
like you must be.
You're
Listen, I'm
used to seeing
scratching
that
my
Lambeau
head,
red.
dude. I'm happy when my first line scores 20 goals with Montreal. So I'm, you're
And-
talking about third liners
they're-
scoring.
They're really, really, really banking on Perfetti, because if Perfetti does not perform or doesn't live up to his hype, like they got him at least on their top six this year. If he doesn't perform, then who's on their top six?
What are you
Like it's
talking
just
about? They have a very
What are
good
you talking
team.
about? Bottom or top six?
I'm
now?
talking top. They
They
got
have
Connor, they got Scheifele, they got Ellers,
Riley,
Wheeler,
Colors, Dubois.
Wheeler, and Dubois,
Yeah, those are.
and then it's
We
all
just named
downhill
five
from there.
guys. We just named five guys. Like I don't.
How
But
many
the
teams have
drop
that?
off after those five is Jurassic.
Yeah, but
It
dude,
goes from those five to Adam Lowry and Mason Appleton.
Mason Appleton's a fine player. Nothing wrong with him.
Sure, on your fourth
I
line.
actually like Lowry. I'll be honest with you.
I
I
do
really
too.
Me too.
like him.
I like him too, but again, he's a fourth liner. He's not a third line center. If he's your third line center, I mean, I don't know. That's kind of question marky. Like he's okay, but he's
Again,
a great fourth liner.
Again, it really
I
depends
think
on
I
if what your expectations are for the players, right?
yeah, I think you were right with Perfetti. I think Perfetti is going to be given an opportunity for top 6 minutes, and if he makes it, great. If not, I don't think it's the end of the world. But you got Connor, Scheifele, and Ehlers. Boom, your first line. That's pretty damn good.
It's
You got
amazing.
Perfetti, Dubois, and Wheeler. I don't know. To me, that's a pretty damn good second
Yeah.
line too, right?
Yeah.
And then third line, you got Lowry and who'd you say? Appleton,
yeah.
Appleton, and
and,
that's it.
and a young kid.
Well, you could put
Probably,
Sam. You
right?
could put Sam Gagner there. You could put
Sam Gagner is probably a fourth liner, I would say at this point.
They're
Sure.
all
He'll be
fourth.
with like
Right.
what's that
They're
other
Nothing
all
guy?
else.
fourth liner.
What's that
Right
other
now they got
guy's
a guy.
name? Tornado,
Yeah. Tornado. Dominic.
Tomato,
Dominic.
Yeah, Tornado. That
Dominic
guy.
Tomato.
Tony Nato. It
That's it.
says Tony Nato.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. He's a 28-year-old who's been bouncing from the NHL and the AHL. That's who you
Yeah.
want to depend on. I don't.
But
I mean,
every team has those
Yeah, but
guys.
you got to understand.
Yeah.
not
You
the
got
teams that are going to make the playoffs. I mean, which playoff does Colorado doesn't have players like that.
Oh,
okay, but
come
you're
on.
talking about the Stanley Cup champions.
Apples and
okay?
oranges
Like,
here, brother.
You're talking
But
Yeah.
about.
even Toronto doesn't have those kind of players. When you look at Toronto's
Yes,
top
we
six,
do.
or bottom six,
You
they don't have them.
obviously don't. Go look at the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I'm
Who
Do
do
you
looking
know
at them
who's our
now.
fourth line players right now? Do you know who fourth line players?
Obey
Wayne
Kubel.
Simmons, Clifford, and Gaudette.
Yeah.
Like,
I would
it's
take
just-
those guys in a heartbeat
on
over what I'm looking at.
Those guys
Really?
need a heartbeat. What do you mean?
Exactly. They're like 42 years old and need an
No.
oxygen mask on the bench. No,
No,
like
the
Clifford
Leafs
can't
have a
play
nice
hockey.
bottom six. Yeah,
Oh,
but
boy.
Clifford's just out there to break somebody's neck.
Clifford,
I mean, he's
you
not
won't
out
even
there
be
to
on the
score
team,
goals.
guys. You won't even be on this team. But
Anyway.
Tomas
hope not.
convinced me. Winnipeg's in for me. They're squeaking in.
Wow.
Nashville's out. Streak is over for Nashville and Washington.
Wow.
So you know what, Dave? The only reason what you and I were always talking about before with Demko, I think an elite goaltender can make or break your season for sure. And
100%.
he's done it, right? Like I think he
Yeah, but
can
you're
carry
talking.
Winnipeg.
Oh,
He's done it before in the past.
you're talking about Hellebuck.
Hellebuck.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like if you're saying to me earlier, you were talking about Demko, he's making that much of a difference, and I agree with you 100%. Why can't Hellebuck do it again?
Why? Well,
He did it
he's had
with
it
no
bad.
defense.
But he's had a couple of off seasons. He's had some bad goals. I don't know. He hasn't looked the same since his Vezina year. I know
I
part
blame
of
the
it is the
coach.
defense, part of his and I'm with. That's why I'm putting him in the playoffs this year. But can you imagine they're not in a decent spot? Hellebuck would look perfect on Vegas. That's where he would look
Or
perfect.
the Leafs.
Well, no, they're not gonna.
Why not?
I'm just saying, there's one team that needs a goalie, and that would be if Vegas had someone like Hellebuck. I think they're a contender again.
They're a different
I
team.
think
So
I
my
think if
point is,
Winnipeg,
Winnipeg,
sorry,
if
go
they
ahead.
want to rebuild, they have so many pieces to inherit, so many, whether it's draft
Are
picks,
you
whether it's
closer?
prospects.
And if you're the guy, sorry to cut you off, Dave, but I
Yeah,
literally,
go
if you're the guy in charge, are you closer to?
of Winnipeg.
Yeah. Are you closer to
Yeah,
winning a cup with this team, or are you closer to taking the guys from this team, turning them into assets? Like what's the road? What's the quicker road? Because I would argue that it's actually quicker to like you said, trade these assets. You could turn
yep.
this around quicker than you
Well,
think. You really
especially
could.
with this, yeah, especially with this division. You got. Oh, sorry, they're on the other side. I was thinking about Calgary. All these Canadian teams. You got Colorado, St. Louis. I mean, if you're not going to compete with these guys, you might as well just rebuild.
Exactly. Exactly.
You
But
know,
did they
but
bring bonus in for that though? That's the
no, but
question.
that goes to the point of let's see how they start off, right? If they start off
Yeah.
and they're basically a 500 team, I think they made up their mind. Otherwise, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what the plan is with this GM. He makes no sense to me at all since he's gotten there.
I think
No,
he's
I
the
agree.
first to go. I think, to be honest with
Well,
you, if Winnipeg has a slow start, GM's gone. First one, boom, out you
and then
go.
Trotz
And
jumps
then,
in. Is that Trotz finally jumps in?
yeah, maybe like everything that I've
No,
read
Dave
said
Dave
that it was
Tomaso
family,
wants
but I don't know.
Tomaso wants Trotz to be the Leaf GM. So he doesn't want to say that.
No, not GM, coach.
Not the
He's
GM
not.
though?
He's not.
What about
No,
a
he's
no, but
coach.
that's what he wants though. He wants a GM job.
But no one's giving him a GM job.
Well,
I think that's the
Winnipeg might.
problem.
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg might.
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg will give him ownership for crying out loud. You know, like didn't they offer him like
Free beer.
free beer for life or something like that over there in Winnipeg? I don't know what it was. It was something crazy, but yeah, no, I agree with you guys 100%. If Winnipeg starts off slow,
He's born in
I think that's perfect.
he's born in Manitoba. So
Yeah, and he said no. So
yeah. Yeah.
it tells you something.
It's gonna be interesting.
He said no to what? To
For sure.
coach, right?
He said no to everything for Winnipeg.
Yeah,
Winnipeg offered him everything.
no, but Winnipeg
Not
didn't
the
Whatever
offer
you
him
GM,
the
want, blank
GM.
check.
Did they offer him a
but not the
GM job?
GM.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they offer him a GM job, that might be what he wants, right? He might say. He said no
Again,
for this.
the only thing I know is what Elliot Freeman said. And Elliot Freeman said that he specifically took off time for family. He basically told people, no, that right now is not the time. But he leaked something back to, I guess, to Freeman saying that now he's got everything in place and he's refreshed and he's ready to go. So that's why I say first guy who gets the boot, which is hopefully Keith, he'll be first in line.
Oh, that's why he wants him, Dave. Tomaso's all in on the Trotz bandwagon for the Leafs, so he's
I
gonna.
don't think it.
You
Yeah.
kidding me?
I
He's gonna
don't see
teach
it.
these Leafs to play defense? Are you kidding? Get out of here.
Hey, if he can't, who can?
Nobody.
Right?
Nobody
You
can.
might as well remove the whole team.
Nobody can. Well, that's
Well, it's the
gonna.
same thing. It's the same thing as Winnipeg. Those guys don't know how to play defense. Tell me Shifley knows how to play defense?
We're gonna see
At
this
least
year.
Matthews is a defensive player. He goes back. He back checks. Shifley can't. Right? The Matthews is amazing. Like he actually, he's underrated in terms of like puck stripping and fighting one-on-one battles. He's really good. Marner, like I don't know. Like I know Dave doesn't like him very much, but the guy penalty kills. He's for a small guy.
Penalty kills. Big deal.
He works hard, for a little guy. Like
So does
I
Mason
don't know.
Appleton, Lowry, a lot of players work
Yeah,
hard.
but they don't give you 100 and something points, right? There's the difference,
That
right?
we're
And there's a
talking
very
averages.
big difference.
We're talking two different things now.
Coming after the
Okay,
All-Star game,
I'll
Mitch
put it to you
Marner
this way.
was like one of the best players in the league.
I'll
Like
put
there's
it
a
to you this
very
way.
different.
Kyle Connor, Giancarlo just said, "Where's their depth? Where's their depth?" He got 93 points this year, and we're gonna say, who's he playing with? He's making $7 million a year. There's gonna be someone on your team, Tommaso, who's gonna be making almost double that. And guess who I'd rather have?
Yeah.
Kyle
Yeah,
Connor,
but
easily.
we've beat that to death though. Like
No, but this goes back to
when they
building. But you want to build a team. You can't have guys making $14 million, a whole bunch of them. You can't.
I
You
know
just can't.
there's no
Kyle
room for
Connor,
anything else, right?
Connor and McCarr, the two steals of the NHL in terms of contracts. So you're not going to find two better contracts in the league.
But they got really lucky. Colorado, like I can't believe how lucky they got with Bakar
Oh,
in
enough
terms
with
of
the
when
lucky
they
thing.
signed him.
Yeah.
Why are they
Well,
lucky? They wanted it. He wasn't even slated to go in the top 5, and they took him. They liked him. So that's not luck. That's
Yeah.
something that,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
He was
They
off
knew
the
who they
board.
wanted.
He
What's
was
his
off the
name?
he was
What
off
did
the
Philly
board.
pick? What's that
Who?
kid's name? I think he just retired. He's in Vegas now. Philly. Remember Philly picked what's his name?
Oh,
Nolan
thing's
Patrick?
son.
Nolan Patrick.
Yeah.
Over Makar.
So there you go.
Oopsie.
Is it luck? So is it luck?
No, it's not luck.
Yeah.
I think a lot of
Oh,
people
well,
say
that
it's
was a
luck, but
no-brainer though.
it's not luck. Like, but that
Mm.
what was a no-brainer? Sorry.
Taking Nolan Patrick at the time, he looked really, really good.
Oh, again, that's where it's to me it's fascinating when we talk about drafting and stuff like that. Like and that's why I always want a player that will be like it doesn't matter the situation that the player is in. And I know that this is going to be like I'm talking franchise players here. So obviously, when you draft first overall, you want to draft a franchise player. You know what I mean? Like that's not rocket science. Like that's what you want. But when you find a franchise player that is not in the top 3 or whatever, Colorado did amazing. And I remember hearing like an article about Makar. Like Makar was like where did he even play? Like
CAA.
he was from a weird
Yeah,
like development
he was.
program, right? He wasn't playing in like the typical like he was basically playing in the middle of nowhere, right? And
That's
then
true. That's true.
Colorado picked him, right? So it isn't luck. Like people say luck and they just use that as a sort of an all-encompassing word that it is basically there to justify anything reactively. Like that's not the way it works. You have to give the people credit for making that pick. So and
Wasn't he
all,
playing in the
Sure.
NCAA?
it says he was in UMass Amherst.
Yeah, the University of Mass.
Yeah, Massachusetts.
But this
Yeah,
is
I'm
but this was
pretty
I
sure.
could have sworn he was NCAA,
Yeah,
but I'll take your word for it.
that's NCAA.
Hmm.
it says H East. We'll say that, sure. But even before that, he played in the AJHL, right?
Yeah, that's a weird league.
The Brooks Bandits. Like who are these guys? Like like he
That's
played
the
2
Alberta
years.
League, I think, right?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I
All
have
I remember about
no idea.
Makar is he got introduced to the NHL right at the playoffs. Like he came in as a kid
Yeah,
out
he
of
did.
nowhere,
Yeah.
and he stuck out.
Yeah.
He was just his skating ability was right from the beginning. You're like, this kid's going to be special. So I don't know. It
That's how
just
you know. When the guy
I,
gets on the ice, literally, you know. You don't need any development. You don't need any coaches. You don't need any, pick the right guy, whatever. You put that guy on the ice, and that guy makes a difference the minute he steps on the ice, right?
So I just quickly looked up the rankings for that year by Bob McKenzie. Guess who he had fourth for that draft
Oh boy,
in his final rankings?
oh,
that's that.
Makar.
He picked him fourth, eh? Look at that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it. I think the thing with Makar, and I'm looking at it now, he was playing in that Alberta league, and he's put 75 points in it. People were probably just thinking, it's a garbage league. That's why he
Yeah,
did so well.
right.
But Colorado was like, no, this guy's really special. And then, his first year after getting drafted, he was in the NCAA. He won the Hobey Baker Award.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, that's
then
what it
yeah.
was. So he was drafted out of this Brooks Bandits team because he was drafted in
Brooks.
2017. Yeah, man. I'm
Yeah.
What a
serious.
name.
That's the team.
Great name.
That's the league he was in, the AJHL. Like
Yeah,
that's
that's the
Yeah.
Alberta
ridiculous.
Junior Hockey League. That's what it stands for.
Like come on. Like it's
Well, that's why
insanity.
people passed on him because they
Yeah.
probably, that
Yeah.
league is worse than the Q.
Oh,
Everybody talks
but
poorly about the Q, but
what are we talking about here? He could be playing for the Omnish Hockey League. If you see the kid skate, it doesn't matter. His
well,
skating is just
Well,
head and shoulders
it's
above
hard to say
anyone
that.
you can see.
now
You
you
mean Makar is a beauty. Even when he first stepped on the ice, like his first game in NHL,
no,
he
you
was
know the
just a
talent.
kid.
But that just
You
Like
can
you
goes
see the
saw
talent,
it,
but
right?
sometimes when you're playing with players that are so much under you, you look even that much better. And I think that was a risk, and especially with defense, right? Teams don't like to take defense that high,
Mm, no, bro.
especially
Like I
when you
tell
have
you,
two centermen who
I've
went
seen
one
my
and two, right?
Mhm.
I've seen my nephew play AAA, and he's 18 now. And I seen like my son just started playing hockey now. And I'm telling you, when you go to see kids play, right, and you're evaluating, skating is the number one thing that sticks out. I don't care about all these guys that do these fancy stick handlings and this
Yeah.
and this and this, blah, blah, blah. You can tell right away who's special and who's not by the way they skate. It's just the edge work and the speed and the way that they can just fly out there. It's a no brain. Like, you like to use that word, no brainer. That's the thing, especially in today's NHL. You can't skate, you can't play.
That's a good point.
Yeah, speaking of first round draft picks, I watched Slavkovsky play for the
Oh, how do
Canadians.
you do?
I mean, I'm not giving up hope, but he's not. And the reason why he came to mind is because, like I said, when he's on the ice, you really want to see the good things, right? You really want to see those moments where you're like, he sticks out for me in a positive sense. I did not get that. That doesn't mean I'm giving up on the player. That doesn't mean I think he's a bust. I know that everybody on the internet nowadays, if you have if you have an opinion on a player, it's like you're calling him a bust. I'm not calling him a bust. And every time I read things in like message boards, it drives me crazy. Like people can't have an opinion about a player. It's like there's no neutral my TBD anymore. But I'm telling you my first opinion, based on what I've seen, I have not been impressed so far, and it's still early. I'm curious to see what they do with him because he's not ready to play in the NHL. Like if he's struggling, I shouldn't say struggling. If he's not standing out in preseason games, then in prospect games, then this is not the place for him to be developing as a player that you would hope to be a top line player. So I'm really curious to see what they do with him. They're likely gonna send him to Laval, or I would love for him to go to Europe, to be honest with you. I would not want him to be in North America, only because I just don't want him around the media. I don't want this kid to get psyched out because it is possible to get psyched out by the media machine that is the Montreal Canadiens. And if he goes to Laval and he struggles, that's going to be problems. It is going to be problems. Like he's going to have microphones stuck in his face because Laval's just down the road, right? And they're going to haunt him there. So honestly, after seeing what I've seen so far, I would send him back. I would send him back to Europe, and I would say, kid, just go and play and forget about, you got a taste. You know what you need to do. Go and score some goals. Go and get some points. Go and play hard. Probably lose a few pounds because I think you're a little heavy. That's my opinion. Um, no, I think he's a little slow, right? And I think that the speed is going to matter. Like he was really struggling to keep up. And this is preseason, man. So, and I know that he's still getting timing down and learning how to play in a smaller rink and all that. But that, to me, like, I don't know. You tend to find as soon as you get those special players, you put them on, they make a difference, right? It's not like that for him. So I am curious to see what they do with him, though. Like, if it were me, if I'm the GM, I'm sending him back to Europe. That's what I would do.
I
So
agree.
you would do that over giving him his first nine? in the NHL.
No,
I would not. I
not
would.
yet.
I would not put him in the NHL because he's not ready. Like I said, he's not. Like it would be okay. Could you put him in for a handful of games to give him a taste of the NHL? Yeah, sure. Is it gonna hurt? No, no, it's not. So yeah, I mean, if you wanted to
I
keep him
think it
around
will
for
hurt actually. It will hurt.
his confidence maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Because
possible.
what's going to happen is you're going to put him in for 9 games, and you know Wright is going to be starting for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
So Knight, if Wright does anything, I mean anything, and Slakowski does nothing, he's going to be deemed a failure once you send them back. And then there you go.
yeah, it's true.
This high, like, oh my God, like I just don't let the kid
No,
just
send him back
go,
to Europe, man.
send
I'm
him
telling you.
away, far away.
That's what I'm telling you.
Yep.
Yeah, this is not the place for him now because he needs to focus on his skills,
Mm-hmm.
be able to carry a team offensively. That's what I want him to do. Learn how to carry an offensive load. It's not easy to do. He's playing in a men's league. I know it's Europe. It's not the best, but I'd rather him play in Europe than in the American Hockey League at this point. That's
Yeah,
just simply
especially
because of the league.
Montreal too, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because like, look at Dave has always said about Toronto. Like we have Matthew Nyes, who's never done really anything, and they're already like awarding him to be like, I don't know, next John Leclerc or something. Like they're making out to be this incredible player. In Montreal, he's had one preseason game, and they're like, he's a fat bastard. He
yeah,
can't skate. He can't this. He can't.
yeah,
Like they're so hard. It's like, what are you doing? And this is back to the points that we were saying earlier about Suzuki and captaincy. It's like, oh my God, you want to protect these kids from that until they're mature enough to handle this Montreal tornado of garbage
yeah,
that's going to be coming at them. So
yeah,
I don't know. Let this kid go to Europe. Let him work on his skills and grow into his body, right? Because
yeah.
still,
Exactly.
he's a kid. He's only 18, 19 years old. That's not his male, like his man body, what eventually it will be.
It's true.
He's got plenty of time.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But I mean, and there's no shame in that. Like sometimes players take another year to develop, another couple years. It's not you're not everybody is a generational hockey player that can step on the ice and be Cale Makar, right? You need to have that time, and it's kind of like when you're playing, and I mean we've all played sports, but when you're playing in a league that's just way too good for you, right? Like you're like, okay,
Yep,
I can't be like you can't you're not getting the reps that you need, you're not getting the touches that you need, you're not getting the puck as much as you need in order for yourself to get better. Like that's what it comes
exactly.
down to, right? Like you need to have the puck, you need to have that time to get better yourself. He's just not going to have it in Montreal
Yep.
anyway. I mean, maybe Laval, but I would still say the risk of putting him in Laval is more considerable because if he does struggle, then he doesn't need the extra noise now. Like he'll learn that Montreal media is crazy, and I know that when they first drafted him, they were basically asking him about like whether he understood what it meant to be in Montreal and all that stuff, and he said all the right things. But hey, man, until you get those 50,000 microphones stuck in your face, it's not you can say all you want, right? Like once you live it,
Exactly.
once you have a bad game and you got to face the music and tell everybody that you didn't play very well, that gets real pretty quickly. So I would want to shield him from that now, and that's why I
Hmm.
said, like, I would have. It's too bad they can't go back because they shielded him from the World Junior Championship. I would have put him there. I don't know why they didn't. Like, let the kid play. Like I don't know why they didn't. It bothers me to this day because like that's his
And they
peer group.
say why?
No, they didn't.
They
No,
never just say anything, huh?
no, no,
I
and
just assumed it was like an injury or
no,
something.
no, no, nothing.
Like,
They
why
just
would you not let him play?
that to me is perfect. It's a perfect stage for him to play on. Perfect.
Yeah.
Like you're in your peer group,
Hmm.
and that's why like I get annoyed or like because it's almost like they're shielding him, but you're like, okay, you drafted this guy. Like this guy's got to be your guy, Like at some point he's got to carry the ball. So this is where we'll see how it happens. I don't know. I'm not writing him off. Obviously, I have hope for him, but I just don't want him anywhere near the Montreal media circus this year because they're going to be all over this kid. and I just want him to grow a little bit.
I think at the end of the day, they have to do everything possible to protect this kid. And at the end, you cannot let him be Alexander Kovalchenyuk, Kakanyemi, and then him. You can't. You cannot blow another top pick. Like it just that will be devastating for that franchise.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is definitely going to be their pivotal player. And I mean, depending on how this year goes, um, I'm expecting another good draft pick. So this will.
Perfect segue into last. Are we talking about that? Are we going to do the bond three, or are we done?
Oh, I forgot
Let's
about
do
that.
bottom. Let's do
So,
bottom.
well, hold on. I didn't give you my last one yet. I said for I didn't give you my wild cards for the Central and Pacific Division. So I'm gonna say Nashville is gonna make it, and I'm gonna say Vegas is gonna make it. Those are my last two picks.
Vegas and Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville is one of those teams where I didn't, you know, they definitely got stronger, so they're one of those teams that are gonna be solid playoff contender teams. They got the goaltending, they have a good balanced lineup. They'll definitely be in the mix when it comes to making the playoffs. Then they'll play Colorado and they lose in four straight, and then that's the end of them. All right, so let's do bottom three in the league. What do you guys think? Who the bottom three in the National Hockey League will be this year? This should be pretty easy, I think.
It's almost like
I
we
think
should
that
do 2 to 5
the,
because I think we're all gonna have Chicago
Why don't
last.
you do bottom five then? Let's do bottom five.
uh,
Bottom
well,
five.
just
Let's go.
that third team. I think the last two teams are easy. Arizona and Chicago, right?
We all have
Like
that. Can
Why
we
not
move
I think
Philly
on?
that's
though?
the easy one, right?
Philly is there too.
Oh,
Okay, but no, but
They-
okay.
hold on.
Maybe if Maurice was coach.
But would we agree that Arizona and Chicago are going to be the bottom two?
No, I
Yep.
have Philly finishing lower than both of them.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, but those two.
Chicago's got some some hope to win some games with some good prospects. Arizona's team isn't as bad as people make them out to be. Philly's just everybody's hurt and who's not hurt are garbage. So
There's no way
Okay,
Torts is going
well,
to
what
finish.
about bottom three? Do you have Arizona and Chicago?
bottom three, I think I would go with those three. Yeah.
Okay. So we got two teams in the bottom three between the four of us, a given. So that third team is, I think, pretty much the mix, right? Like, I think that's the interesting one. And you're saying Philly is probably one of those three?
Yeah, I have Philly in those three for sure.
Okay, cool. What about you, Dave?
I got Philly in the bottom 5. Philly. I have Montreal, and I have San Jose.
Wow. San Jose.
Those are good picks.
Who's coaching San Jose now?
Is it Bugner? Is he the coach?
Hold on.
I don't know. I'm lost. I like
It's
San
tough.
Jose is
It's
so
tough.
weird right
We'll
now.
get better. We'll get better. The coach is David Quinn.
Oh, the Rangers at ex-coach.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about you, Mikey? Who do you got like after the one and two?
I would say Philadelphia stinks, so they're going to
Mm-hmm.
definitely be there. I mean, it's hard because Torts is going to do his best to squeeze those guys. So, man, that's not going to be a fun year. Can you imagine being playing for that team and you're gonna lose so many games and you're just gonna get the shit kicked out of you by your coach and bag skated every day? Oh my god. Like
I think
those
I would purposely puncture my ears
those
just
guys
so I can't hear anything for
on
the rest of the year.
honestly, like I don't know what to say. Like part of me doesn't want to put Philly in that group because I just don't think I just don't think they that they'll let themselves be that bad. But looking at their roster, they got a bad team. So you know what? I'm going to take them out just because I feel bad for them because I think that they're going to be better than the top bottom five just because Tortorella's not going to let them finish bottom five. Like that's the way I see it. Um, So if I had to pick three more teams without Philly, I'm gonna say San Jose for sure. Um, and I will say, yeah, man, I gotta like. What about Seattle? I would say Seattle. I don't think they're gonna
That's
be.
mine. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they would be any
I
better than that.
actually have Seattle as my bubble team.
And I would put I'm gonna put Montreal as the fifth worst if I had to guess.
So, can you say them again, Mike?
Arizona, Chicago, San Jose, Seattle, Montreal.
So you have Philly out of it.
I took Philly. I think Philly's gonna they're gonna finish 3 points out of a playoff spot. Yeah.
Okay, if we're doing 5, I would do Arizona, Chicago, Philly, Montreal, and the Devils.
Ooh, those Devils, they keep wanting these top picks.
Oh, they can keep sucking for as long as they want.
Nice.
Can you imagine Arizona again doesn't get the first overall pick? My God.
All
San
right,
Jose is definitely there too.
Dave, what were yours again?
Interesting.
Sorry. Arizona,
Arizona,
Chicago,
Chicago,
Philly,
Philly, Montreal, and San Jose.
San Jose. And then Tomas, your last.
Arizona, Chicago, Montreal, Seattle. Oh, who am I forgetting?
Your Philly you didn't mention, if you want to mention
No,
Philly.
not Philly.
You didn't say San Jose.
I don't know enough about San Jose. I'll be
Well,
honest with you.
then those are all
I
the
don't
teams
know
we
if they're going to
mentioned.
be good or bad.
The only other
So
team
those are the
that
only ones
was
I'm for sure.
Devils,
the Devils were the only other team that
Nah,
was mentioned.
Buffalo.
nope. I got Buffalo making a wild card. So just Seattle. So Arizona. No, I said Detroit, not Buffalo. Sorry. So I got Arizona, Chicago, Montreal, and
Yeah.
Seattle.
Yeah.
Those are guys I'm sure of will be on the bottom.
So you're not gonna add a fifth?
No, because I don't know. I don't have one that I'm like, yep, I feel good about. Because the
Okay.
other ones,
That's fine.
I
That's
don't
fine.
know.
No
I
problem.
think
Well,
it's interesting that you both put Seattle in the bottom 5.
I didn't.
No, but
I'm interested why you
Tomaso and Mike did.
wouldn't. Like,
they
why
stink.
wouldn't you?
Well,
What do
I
you
don't,
see that we
I don't,
don't?
I don't think that they're as bad as you to say that they stink. And they have Matthew Beniers, who, you know, if he turns out, this guy's going to be dynamite,
If they
dynamite for them.
don't finish bottom five, they're stupid. Like I don't know what else to say. Like
Well,
It-
yeah, I could see that argument, but I mean, their bottom or their top 6 isn't terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible either.
Well, hold on a second, Giancarlo. Just explain this to me. You said Winnipeg has a hard time scoring, right? With the guys that they have on their team. So Seattle has McCann? Like,
no,
what do they have?
they got
Well,
Like,
Eberly.
who else do they have?
Jeremy
Eberly.
McKinnon's
Eberly?
That's a
yeah,
guy from
Eberle's a 20
Colorado.
goal scorer. They just got Oliver Borkstrad from Columbus. He's I think he scored 30 last year, didn't he?
But their top six are 20 goal scorers. The guys that you're talking about, like, should be on your third line plus. Like, those are your number one scorers. I don't know. Like, I just don't see them. Like, either you're a very good defensive team or you're a very good offensive team. Like, they're neither. They don't have good defense. They don't have goaltending. They don't have scoring. I don't know. They got nothing. They're a really weird team. I think they started right from the get go, the draft. They screwed up royally. Like, I don't know what they like. They don't even have a plan.
Well,
They're weird.
as long as you finish like this Beniers guy seems like a pretty good player, but that's why I say like you really should take the opportunity to if you're an expansion team, you got Shane Wright now, you got Beniers. I would just take another top five pick and say thanks, put it in my pocket, and go on to the next thing.
Exactly.
Like I'm not
I
gonna.
I agree with that. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I think that they should suck this year, there's no reason for them to try and be competitive. But they do have a bunch of misfits who could be 20 to 30 goal scorers. So I mean, I don't know. Are the Kings that much better than them when you look at their roster?
Who?
I
The
think
Kings.
Los Angeles Kings?
Yeah, I think they
Are
are.
they better? Yeah, but
Come
are they
on. Are
that
you
much better?
crazy?
I'm not
Oh
saying that
my
they're better than the
god, they're
Kings, but
significantly better.
I don't know
Like
if I'd
not
go
even.
that far. I don't know if
What are you
I'd go
talking
significantly.
about? They got two amazing centers, and Kopitar and Daniel, and they got a very good defense.
Well, they got
They
the up and
got
coming players too. They got Byfield
yeah,
from.
they got up and coming guys. They got like they're a really, really okay. I know you hate the Rangers. I get it, right? But LA reminds me of the similar thing. They didn't do the full rebuild. They did like the retool. So they still have the old
Yeah,
veterans there to lead the way, but they still got these young guys now that are they drafted well and they've made these trades and like Sean Dursey's another one, a really good young right-handed defenseman. So like I don't know, LA looks really good. Like are they in the echelon like the top teams? I don't know. They still got ways to go, but you can't compare them to Seattle, bro.
I
Like
did put the Kings in my top 8, but I mean, I don't know. I just looking at the West, I just don't think Seattle is as bad as people might make them out to be. They have NHL players. They have
yeah, they're
all
better than they
nine
were
or all
last year. I'll give them that. They're better than they were last
all
year.
12 of their starting lineup are NHL players, and I mean, this Matty Berners, he's a big question mark because it really depends on how good he ends up being this year. And then they got Shane Wright too. Who knows? There are a lot of question marks, but they have these really good young talent players that I don't know. You can't rule them out until
I
they
like
actually start playing.
I like Jaden Schwartz. I like, and they got Burakovsky. They got
I got
Bjorkstrand.
Burkowski,
Like you,
Borkstrad,
like you mentioned.
Eberly, McCann,
They got better. They definitely got better than
Alexander
they were
Wenberg, Morgan
than.
I like
Geekie
the
is not
Oleski's
completely out.
Oleski's kid. You know the
Jamie
Canadian
Oleski.
national. Yeah, the swimmer, her brother. He's like a beast. He's
Yeah,
like I
yeah, he's a
forgot
Yeah,
big
how
guy.
tall he.
he used to
He's
play
a
on Pittsburgh.
monster. I
He used
like
to play
that
on
kid.
Pittsburgh. I
Yeah,
really like him too.
and he can fight too. He is
Hmm
6'7". Yeah, holy
Their
shit.
Yep.
defense isn't terrible. They got Justin Schultz. They got Adam Larson. Again, they got a weird team. They got a bunch of misfits. They're all
But they're
mid-age
NHLers. But
type
Who's
they're
guys.
who's
NHLers.
their
They're all
goalie
NHL
again?
players. Philip
Oh,
Grubauer.
Grubauer. He signed a big contract from the 1 year in Colorado.
Yeah,
Wow.
And then they got Martin Jones as their
Oopsie.
backup.
yeah.
Come on, Martin Jones.
Where's the
Yeah,
Drigger?
They got Drieger too.
Drieger is gonna miss like half the year or something like that.
He's not on their
Maybe
Martin
more.
LTIR right
Jones.
now, but
He
yeah,
should
Is,
he should be
isn't
very
Martin
shortly.
Jones like he's still playing?
yeah, yeah. He's
I don't
still
know
playing.
how. That's another
How?
guy.
He's only
Yeah.
Well,
32. He's not old.
he
No, but
fell off,
he's
and I
been
mean,
really like the past couple of years.
He's been
I don't
bad.
even know how many games he's played.
Yeah.
well, no, he's
Ugh.
played quite a few games. It's just he's been played for really garbage teams. Like that San Jose team really fell off, and then he played for what Philly last year.
Right. He did play for
So
Philly.
I think he's going to be a great backup. And I mean, Grubauer, I've never
Cool.
been that big on Grubauer, but I mean, he did have a great year with Colorado, which is, I don't know, hard to compare, I guess.
But if there was ever a team to pull a Buffalo where they start pulling people mid-season and throwing like grandmothers in net, like Seattle's the team. Like that's what I would be doing. I would not let them do well. You know what I mean? Because you need, like Mikey was saying,
Yeah.
give me another top five, please.
Yeah.
Like you're not winning jack shit. Like just forget about the mediocrity. Get these picks. Get a guy
Yeah,
like
it's
Bedard.
it's in your best interest
Yes.
to get a top 5 pick this year. It's as simple as that. Like, and I get it, if you're in contention for the cup, then yeah, you're going for the cup. But if you're not, which these guys are not, I am sorry. I hate to say it because I hate tanking. Trust me, it boils my blood to say tanking. But if that's the way the NHL is going to handle the draft, and that's the way they're going to handle rewarding teams for failure, and that's the way the salary cap is created, that's what it's created. This is what a smart team would do. You would literally
Yeah.
say, it's time for me to tank this year, right?
Yeah.
I hate it.
They
I
they
hate it.
have a really really weird team though. When you look at their team, they got like all their guys are signed for the next 4 to 5 years at on like 5 year or 5 million plus deals. Like I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird
I have
too.
no clue what they're doing. I imagine that they're trying to compete because they're a new team. They're gonna want to try and get
Yeah,
people to the
they're trying to build
games.
a fan base. You're right. That it's less about contending and more about putting icing a product that
Competing,
that
yeah.
is watchable. Yeah.
And they did have guys bounce back. Like McKenn had like almost 30 goals last year. I think Wenberg had a pretty good year. I don't know. They're weird. They're a very weird team, but
No, I think you hit the
we'll
nail.
see.
I think you hit the nail on the head, Giancarlo. Like we always talk about the business side of the game and the winning the cup side of the game, and we know that it's a business. And this is an expansion team, right? They're selling a sport. This may be sort of a distance from my typical take on this, but when you're literally building a hockey market, I wouldn't mind icing a team that is, you know, full of a bunch of guys that are just middling guys that are going to go out and do the best they can, rather than tanking. So I can understand that point of view. If you're trying to build a solid fan base, right, for the future, I get it.
It
But
Yeah.
you have
takes
to remember, they
balls of
also,
steel to do
if
that.
they believe that Wright and Beniers are going to be that good, it's almost like they've started off well, right? They got two guys they can build around if they are going to
Well,
be who they say they are.
It's true.
that's kind of what I'm thinking about Seattle, and those are their if those are their 1 and 2 for center, then and they both turn out, that's pretty huge. And then they got these complementary guys like Borgstrad and Donato and Eberle, and I don't know.
But
Yeah,
those
but
guys are
they're going to get a
those
they're going to
guys are
get a
going to be
top.
gone. Yeah. Yeah.
They will, and they'll get a top 10 pick this year as well.
Unless
So
they trade them, though, they're not going anywhere because they're all signed long term. That's the really weird thing
Oh,
about this
they'll
team.
eventually trade them. They will eventually. Like, that like a guy like Eberle, he's got 2 years left on his deal. He's 32 years old. Like that's a perfect trade deadline
He'll
deal.
be an easy guy to trade, but I don't know how they're going to trade Burkowski. He's still got 5 years on his deal.
Yeah, he just signed. This was a UFA that just signed. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're probably not trading him. I don't
Well,
know.
well, again, this is where I mean, you're not going to trade him now. You just signed him, but he's 27. He's won a cup, right? He won a cup.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
even like I mean, he was hurt, but he did play. Uh,
Yeah,
he so that's going to be attractive for a team down the road where you're like, okay, you want to add this guy to your roster? You know what I mean? Like, it's not a bad get. Um,
No, it was decent.
yeah,
you also got to remember you still need to field the team, right?
yeah.
This is the NHL. You need to get to the cap floor. You can't just have all rookies on your team. So you
Well, they're
got
fine.
so
They-
much money.
They don't have any money left.
Go ahead.
They're a cap team
Oh,
right now.
yeah, they got like 100K left or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, they're full.
They're like right on it.
Yeah, they're full. This is
Let's
a
get the
second-year
deadline,
team.
that's for sure.